and move on to the longest running segment on Washington Football Weekly. Like it, love it, or hate it. Let's get it. Where we sit here and bring up certain topics that have to do with Washington football or just in the NFL, and we give our 2 cents on it. So we're gonna go ahead and start. Dan Snyder and Jason Wright are starting to go on a stadium tour looking for new stadiums. We've already seen there's a lot of different stadiums that have been springing up. The most recent one we know is the Raiders Stadium that's opening up, and it's just this masterpiece, this colossal, this amazing. So, and we also know that, and I actually just looked this up. It's actually they postponed the demolition of RFK Stadium till 2022. Ooh. So essentially, we had that stadium. We're out of that. We're in FedEx, but we're trying to move on. So, Ab, come to you. Like it, love it, or hate it. How you feel about this?
Starting to go over the same to him. I'm okay with it. I like it. I like it. I don't hate it. I don't really care. It's one of those things. It's just like I'm okay. Do I want a new stadium? Oh yeah, who doesn't like new shit? I like new shit, so let's go. But I mean, it doesn't matter right now. You know what I'm saying? Right now, yeah, we have the stadium at not RFK, FedEx until 2027. So you know what I'm saying? I mean, do I want the latest thing? Honestly, if it's anything it's going to be better than Cowboys. It's going to be better than the Raiders. Honestly, if it's better than the Cowboys, that's really all I'm gunning for. Honestly, that'd be what's up, man. So yeah. It's gonna be crazy, bro. I think we're gonna do some things. Oh, didn't LA get a new stadium too?
Mm-hmm. That's where they were today.
Yeah, is that the newest one, or is Las Vegas? One of the two, but
similar
yeah. So honestly, I think that's awesome. Just make it a dome, so I don't have to freeze my ass off or burn my ass off, depending on which side of the stadium I'm on. So that's all that really matters to me.
Exactly. Will, what you got, man?
So I like/love this because if there's one thing that it can be good to have Daniel Snyder as an owner, he's gonna have a pissing contest with Jerry Jones on if I'm going to build the stadium, what can I do? And so I like that he's out there in LA. That's where they found him today, looking at the new Rams stadium, and looking at who's done the latest and greatest. So I'm very much excited about that part. I'm with you, Ab. It needs to be a dome. If they don't, they're stupid because you're never going to get the Super Bowl if you don't get it. So why put millions and millions of dollars in if you don't get this? Because if you build it, you will get it. That's how the NFL works.
Exactly.
You had the perfect chance to be if you build it, they will come, and you totally messed it up. You totally messed it up. Get out.
It is true. If you build it, the Super Bowl will come. You are 100%
right. Had the perfect
literally a field of dreams.
You had it.
Dropped.
Oh man!
Here's the bigger deal for me. It's not what the stadium is going to be; it's where, and that's the info that is going to be most important. Will they be able to go back to the RFK site? Will they stay and just rebuild on where FedEx is because Dan owns that land? It'd be terrible. Or do they make their way out to Virginia somewhere? I mean, we're going to find out here in November what happens, because if Virginia elects Terry McAuliffe as governor, he's very pro-Washington football, and he wants them to come. And before he was as governor, he was already talking to Snyder about where can we build a stadium. Now, since then, there's been a lot of building in Northern Virginia, so good luck finding land. Go ahead, Ad. You got something?
I'm sorry. I don't want to cut in. Anton, you got something, bro?
Interrupting again. No, honestly, I wish they did put that spot in the RFK old stadium spot. It was right in the middle of everything. Plus, if he tries to go for the new big and baddest, he's got like the Washington Nationals stadium as well to compete with, like new technology over there, new technology over here, like keeping it within the Washington, in DC. But I hope he keeps it in DC and not goes back over to FedEx Field, because it's a hassle to walk over there. It's a hassle to get over there, and it was just a bad location when they chose it. Period. Go ahead.
Nationals. I don't know baseball like that, but it's not an old stadium. It's new to us, but it's an old stadium, right?
It's just the way they designed it better for where
so
it
they
was.
renovated
It was new.
The location. Oh, the location.
Okay, so
that's what I like about it.
Okay. But then RFK, I mean, we're talking about that, but just to go on off what you were saying, it's a bad location. It really is. Like, honestly, like, even when the Redskins weren't even playing there anymore, they were doing like these like yard sale kind of things in there and everything like that. Even going to that was like traffic and anxiety and everything like that. And made me not even want to go. And this was like right after they left. So, I mean, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it happens. Because, like, you would want the sports like Baltimore, Ravens and the Orioles right down the street from each other. Like, having the metro right there, the easier access rather than the 2 mile hike.
But you could do the metro in Ashburn. And that's too easy, man.
True. They could be out there in Loudoun County.
Do you know that they're building the metro out towards the Greenway? Did you know that, Anton?
Oh, already. I mean, they already got.
All I know was the white line. The white line that went out to the Dulles Airport. That was the last one I've heard.
Yeah, they're building out towards the Greenway, man. They're past airport now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
now
you're
giving me a different avenue of what they might do if that's in the setup.
But just still think of. Well, sorry. Go ahead, Adam. Oh wait.
Yeah, just let me get this point off. They just made DC, right? They just voted DC as the new state, right?
Yeah.
So that means.
Did it go through? I think they tried to, but I don't know if it fully went through.
I thought they voted on it and voted it to become a state.
I think like the House voted on it, but the Senate has to vote on it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So. Once that happened, the mayor is already said that she wants the sports team to be in DC. She said it publicly herself. And once that, so just like you said, new governor in Virginia, and then the mayor, if they become a state, she becomes a new governor. So, boom, whoever gets that first gets the stadium, bro.
It's gonna be the luck of the hat draw with that.
Money, but also the money. You got to raise up the money. Hey, I'm gonna go to you, Will, in a second. Look, I'm with you guys on the dome. Me personally, I hate it for 2 reasons. Number one, I'm a diehard RFK guy, so I don't like this. Hey, get out of here! Get out of here! Don't start that with me, okay?
Stop it,
Brandon Scherf. I don't hear it.
Right? Just mute on him.
That's why he's so dark. Because he's been to the games in that sun.
Wow, that's what we're going, Oregon. Okay,
I'm just kidding.
Man. So no, but we have that with it. But then also this means that, and I agree with you, Will, that Dan Snyder is a great, like when it comes to like measuring himself and dick measuring contests and all that stuff. He's gonna sit there and not spare any expense. He's gonna sit here and go all the bells and whistles. And he's gonna try to go after the Jerry Jones and all those big owners and things like that. And he's gonna try to do that. But what this also means that is, like I have alluded to, that we still have the contract until 2027. That means he's gonna be here until that time. You know what I mean? Which means we potentially have to deal with this mess for that. So is it worth that? I don't really know. But at the end of the day, it's like when you see the other kids getting new toys and new things, and you're like, well, dang, I didn't want one before. I was content before, but now I'm like, would be nice. It would be nice. Oh, these people just got the new phones. Oh, I didn't really need one. There's nothing wrong with mine, but now I'm like, well, maybe I do need one. You know what I mean?
But when he made a good point when he said Super Bowl, and I wasn't even thinking of that. So to me, that is a very valid point. Even though I don't think you need a dome in order to get a Super Bowl, but I do think that we need a new stadium to get a Super Bowl. I do agree with that.
See, I would argue with you because remember when they went to New York, they gave New York a chance, and they got really lucky. The weather wasn't terrible, but the year before, it was snowmageddon up there. And I just think on the NFL's biggest stage, they don't want weather to be a factor at all. They have to deal with it in Florida, but they would prefer knowing that they can have perfect conditions in their biggest stage.
I agree with that. I just don't think they would I know they thought of that when they agreed to New York having it. There's no way they were like, it was like they were lucky that it was a good day. But I'm just saying they were prepared to play in some crap. Like it's not like you know what I'm saying.
Prepare for the worst on that.
But have they gone back? Is it even up for consideration? I mean, they plan these stuff out 5 years, in advance. New York is never being considered again. It's like they tried it. They gave them. Because they make revenue, it's like, and now they're like, nope, we're not coming back. In my opinion,
I mean, there's a rotation. Like they're not going to go. Oh, you're here 5 years. Oh, we're going to come back to you next year. It was so much fun, and then we're going to go to you next year. Nah, man, everyone else got to get a turn.
Right. It plays in. No, it plays into it. But a lot of things have to do with it, and I wouldn't doubt some of Dan Snyder's issues have to do with it because. If the Super Bowl came to here, that means he'd be on the front. He'd be in the spotlight. And I don't think everything that's been going on, they trying to do that. But look, we got to go on. We have to move on. We actually discussed this. Me and Will did a week ago. We've been making a lot of moves. I'm going to start with you, Anton. Washington made a signing among the first of a bunch of signings and releasings that we've been making. But we made a signing, I think it was last week, where we picked up ex-Bears left tackle Charles Leno. For a while, we didn't understand it. And now with some of the other things that just came out, just happened, we get it now. It kind of makes more sense. But how do you feel about this, Ab? You started a couple years in Chicago. How do you feel about this?
Are you talking to me?
Anton. I'm sorry.
I actually do like the decision. It's a tough 50-50 between me, like letting go Charles Moses. Yes, it should have happened a while ago. Now they're Morgan Moses. And so now it's like, all right, now we got Charles Leno. Okay, we can try him out for a while. He was consistent, but we'll see. Like, I like the decision that we're flipping in different bodies and trying a new system.
I get you. Will, what you got? You good?
What a difference a week makes is all I'll say. After everything we're going to get to later on, I'm glad they picked them up, seeing what their game plan was. So glad they got him.
Yeah. Ab.
If we're only talking about this right now, I'm glad they got him too. Like, honestly, at the worst, he's deaf. So, honestly, that's real. And at the same time, only $5 million for a year. That's what's up, man. Like,
that's why I like the deal.
Did I interrupt you?
Oh.
So anyway, it's like literally like it's a good deal. 5 year, it's a $5 million deal, and it's good. I honestly, and what's good about our team is that we're emphasizing on depth this year. You can really see it this year. Like, you kind of saw it last year, but this year you can really, really see it. And I don't know if you guys see it, but he's kind of, it's not as severe as when Chip Kelly was with the Eagles, like making all these drug deals, like he's on his own fantasy football team. But I mean, it's a little bit, Ron Rivera's like playing chess a little bit right now, guys.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's getting it done. He's getting it. Hey, and shout out to Nicholas Rosario of Washington Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable. Diehard Bears fans. He's saying he consistently lets guys buy him. And honestly, this was one of the questions I had, and I presented it to you, Will. This is one of the questions I had last week is he's healthy, he's fine, he's great. He's played a couple years in Chicago. But then why all of a sudden I get they drafted Tevin Jenkins, but why all of a sudden you just up and just cut this guy? Like, what are you not telling me? And this might be what he's talking about, is that those speed rushers can get by him. He constantly has trouble if he has to go up against some of those speed rushers, and so that kind of messes with me. But at the same time, I like it because of the next move that we are going to discuss. Today, we found out, and Ab, I'm coming to you first. Today, we found out that we released, not traded, we released Morgan Moses and Geron Christian. Ab, what do you think? Because this to me, just when I thought we were building up, now it's just like you're letting go. I get the cap, but I don't know, Ab, what's up?
So this is strategic right here, especially before June 1st. I think that's when contracts end, or this is the time to get that money off your books without it being like penalized or even spreading it over 2 years kind of thing. So and June 1st is in 2 weeks. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So literally this is strategic. We got two guys that we really are trying to sign. We got Jonathan Allen. We got Brandon Sheriff. It's one of those sacrifices, but to me, it's a bad move. We literally went from offensive line being a quality part of our game, to it being in trouble again. To me, this is what makes the move prior, the Leno pickup, bad to me. It really does. So that just means we don't have a starter next year on the books. That's all we did was we got a starter, a guaranteed starter, because they're both tough as hell. But one's on the left side, one's going to be on the right side. But now we don't have a left tackle, and that just means Ron Rivera is putting all his chips into Cosme, and that's essentially what it is. But in the end of the day, we're still going to have to find another depth guy next year.
Yeah. I think this is the sacrifice that Ron Rivera is going with, is taking in Leno and putting Cosme out there.
Jumping in on my spot here.
Yeah.
I'm showing the order. Goes
I was like, hey,
Forget about it.
Tonight,
Forget about it.
We'll go, Will.
No, I changed my name to Mr. Negative because I do not understand the moves that were made this week, and I do not like them. And I've been I vouch for what Ron and them are doing, and I don't get it. Just like to what Ab said, I looked at it as saying Leno and Moses on the left and right side. You got Lucas and Cosme behind them to let Cosme develop, take over left tackle next year. And I feel like the line is better with Morgan Moses than it is without him. I knew they weren't going to get anything much in the trade. You think about it, we got a 6th-round pick for Eric Flowers. Big deal. They knew you weren't going to get anything for him. So at this point, to me, it just doesn't make sense. They have the ability to re-sign Jonathan Allen for next year and extend him. And maybe $22 million right now sitting there that I don't know if we really need that many. So I didn't like the announcement that they allowed him to seek a trade, and I don't like the fact that he's not on the roster anymore.
I would agree. And since you already went, Anton, I guess I can go now. Then is that all right, or do you need?
Is that close drinking a beer for you all too? Is he just chugging away right now?
He's just that birthday beer.
It away,
That's that birthday.
That's the birthday boy.
Did you have a better frozen screen?
Right. Yo, we're definitely gonna get a shot of that one.
Honestly,
chugging away.
I think, honestly, Rivera is really making a SoundCloud throughout that locker room. He's either making the sacrifice or he's not. He's made so many tough decisions and carried through for the locker room itself. And I think it's a scary move of him letting Morgan Moses go, or Morgan Moses go and picking up Leno, but it might be a sacrifice that we don't see. So we'll see what turns out, and I'm just try and put my heart into what Rivera's doing.
Yeah, shout out to him. He knows more than we do, but like you said, I mean, Morgan Moses was reliable. He was here somehow, some way, even though he might have been hurt, even though we were like, the injury report that he's questionable or negative, doubtful, he would show up and he would play and he would be solid and he'd do the job. So this, to me, this stinks. I understand if they're trying to go younger, Cosme, got, some of these guys in there, but personally, he was one of the rocks of the team. He was elite. He was just moral support. He was a good guy in the locker room.
Original Hogs 2.0, wasn't he?
Yeah, he came up with that.
And this is, you care more about this too, Anton, than the rest of us. But wasn't he a captain too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was vocal. Yeah.
Yeah. He wasn't your guy. He wasn't a captain.
He wasn't my guy. He wasn't my guy.
He might have been. I just know he was very vocal. He was a leader, whether he's captain or not.
I think he was a captain, and it's just.
He had a lot more heart with every time he sprained his ankle. He was back out there wanting to play. Like, he didn't give up and go to the locker room. He wanted to get back out there.
He's one of the toughest people on our team. If not the league, bro. Honestly, to me, this is crazy. It really is. It's like
that's what I'm with you. Like, it's a tough decision whether to keep him because he's like injured or because he just doesn't want to play anymore.
Toughness is contagious, and that is what. And honestly, that's what you want with your team. You really do.
Mm-hmm.
What surprises me about it is Ron has clearly flipped the culture. He wants to get those bad apples out. But Morgan Moses is not one of those guys. He's the guy you want. And if anything, Morgan Moses is the guy who spoke up for Trent Williams, spoke out against the previous training staff, saying how bad they were. Like, he is the exact opposite of what Rivera's been trying to get rid of. So that's what has me so confused over this.
Are we thinking this might be a Dan Snyder move?
I think it's more of a sending a message. I don't know what message, but basically saying like, "Hey, you can be a starter, and we'll get rid of you." Type.
Yeah, so like nobody's
Snyder move.
Well, nobody's job is safe, essentially.
I mean, but I don't think because June 1st being that deadline, you wouldn't give up on a starter on the first 8 week of practice. Like, something has happened between that, this first week that he's like, all right,
we'll see.
Get him out of here.
And Anton, that's the other thing that I was kind of leaning towards is that maybe that they are waiting for June 1st. And maybe at June 1st, when, the new fiscal year and everything like that, maybe they're looking to make a potential move or something at that particular time. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense right now. I mean, we look at the Charles Leno thing and we're like, okay, it's interesting that they made this move. And now we understand it a little bit more. But now it's like, maybe June 1st, maybe we are still looking to do stuff. Everything that we have done, and shout out to Ab, he said this from day one, from the first show, everything that we have done, we've done quietly. We've done at the last minute. We've done, we've just taken it. We're not making all the big flashy moves. We talked about that with the draft. We're getting just, this is the stud guy, the Brevin Jordans. We get the next guy, the John Bates, or you know what I mean? Like, we didn't, with the exception of John Brown, we didn't really make these big eye-popping moves compared to who we could have gotten. So I think with this, he's kind of just going with the same flow, the same strategy, the chess move, like you said, Ab, and it's just kind of like, I'm picking this guy, I'm getting this guy, let me make this move, and I'm setting it up for this right here. So we don't see what's happening, but it's going to be good. Yeah, go ahead.
Another possibility, since we June 1st is right around the corner, maybe this is Ron Rivera saying, hey, my man, we don't see you in our future. I want you to get a head start before everybody else starts dropping off their teams, so people can start looking at you first before they look at anybody. Because literally, that's what we did with that safety from Miami, and with what we did with Leno. Once they got released, oh man, okay, all right, I'm gonna look at them real quick, and they jumped on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's about the opportunity, and if he's out there 2 weeks before everybody else is, bro, he's gonna have a job tomorrow.
Exactly. Absolutely right. And I'm going to go ahead and go right back to you, Ab, because you just segued into the next one. Washington picks up former Dolphins safety Bobby McCain. Like it, love it, or hate it.
I like it, man. Depth pick. Depth pick. I don't like. To me, his numbers like he was a starter. That's good and everything like that. I just think like. I don't know. Maybe we all look for something different, but I want a speed guy. I mean, is he durable? Yeah. I mean, that's what's up. I mean, it really irritates me that Troy Apke is not good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's fast as hell, but he's just not good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So to me, we need he's serviceable. And to me, that's good. Honestly, we can do some things with serviceable. And honestly, Miami's defense was nothing on us last year, not one bit. So maybe us holding the quarterback an extra half a second, a whole second, will make this man a Pro Bowler. You know what I'm saying? Right. So honestly, I like it. I think he's going to be there. He's keeping the seat warm for one of our rookies. That's my opinion.
And I agree. I like this move. I actually kind of love this move. And I think the word of the offseason for our safeties is the hybrid. You guys have both mentioned it. And somebody that can play safety, play free and strong, play feet or strong, but that can also come up to that line and run support. I think that's going to be a huge help to that front seven. But it's like you said, Ab, with that front seven, I think we can make a guy that's average look good. You know what I mean? Exactly. Because of that extra second that he'll have, or because that pass is going to be, off balance or tipped or something because of how aggressive our D line is. So I think this is great depth. It's a great move. We know he can play. He's got speed. Let's go. And with everything we've been doing, Will, I'm going to come to you. I think this is a great move. I love it. So, Will, what's up?
Yeah, I think it's a very good depth move. I'm curious on the player because when they signed him, they said, hey, he can play free, he can play strong. And so I listened to an interview with someone down in Miami, and they talked about how this guy came into the league as a strong safety. Ryan Flores took over in Miami, and he wanted the same thing that Ron Rivera does, position flex. So they moved him to free safety for the last 2 years. And apparently the player, they even said, he's not comfortable at free safety. And so it's kind of an interesting, then you're bringing him really in to play strong safety and play free safety that he's not comfortable with. Is that really playing to his strengths? Miami, apparently the last 2 years, was last in interceptions and pass defense by their safeties. So he's not a playmaker out there. At the same time, they were really high up in covered sacks. So if dude has range to prevent the quarterback from throwing it, to let our D-line get there, then, that ultimately, that works too. The measure of a safety can't only be how many picks do you have. So I think it'll be interesting. Like you said, it's depth. He's got experience. It's depth. Why not? Let's give him a shot. Worst thing can happen is what happened last year where Sean Davis was horrid and they cut him, at training camp. Didn't even make the roster. So, sure.
Who did you just say?
Sean Davis last year, they signed from Pittsburgh, and then everyone thought he would start, and then he was terrible. So it's worth a look. I just don't have high hopes for this guy.
Right. And Anton, what do you think? You've been talking about hybrid. You've been talking about needing somebody in that position. What do you think, man?
I'm with them. I think it's a good move for having him as depth. He's having his 6 years down in Miami. He wasn't so great, but he actually had a pretty good average on tackles, so he was always consistently get to the ball. And I think with Ab saying about, that extra time that's going to take the quarterback, I think him being on the ball or more pass breaking up opportunities might be there for them. So, like that front seven might help the quarterbacks, our cornerbacks and our safety cover a little bit better, maybe able to get to the ball a little bit better. We'll see.
Yeah.
So, let me add this real quick. I'm sorry. So I'm not trying to take anything away from my man's at all, but we definitely need to put this out there. Cameron Curl, a 7th round rookie, bro, and I'm not saying like he isn't as good as he produced last year.
Yeah.
But this dude was our defensive line made this man helped helped him
Be
with almost a Pro Bowl season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we cannot undervalue the defensive line at all and how they help the secondary.
Yeah.
And honestly, all we need to do is tighten up the second level, the linebackers. And honestly, this team could be number one. This defense can be number one. For real.
Oh yeah. And honestly, you hit the nail on the head. I don't have to say anything else with that, Ab. That's absolutely how I feel. Like I really feel like we are doing exactly what we've all talked about this off season, focusing on our linebackers and our secondary. We have been working nonstop to get our linebackers and our secondary that depth, not even really major big name guys, but just the depth and different guys in different positions. I absolutely love that. But with all the moves we have been making, and I'm going to go ahead and go first on this one. Recently, we let go. Well, we let go earlier in the offseason, but he did finally get signed somewhere. My guy, Ryan Kerrigan, baby, gets signed by Philly. I got to shout out Ab because in the beginning of the year, Ab, he put up in the Redskins group, these Washington groups, he was like, yo, real talk, let's trade Ryan Kerrigan. Before the first game, and I didn't say anything. And then after Ryan Kerrigan got a couple sacks, I definitely was like, oh, glad we got him. And called But, yo, I was wrong. Yo, straight up, Ryan Kerrigan, I love him. But, hey, at the end of the day, you guys have more than told me enough on him. I understand for however great he was and all the years that he was with us. He's not that same guy. Our defense has gotten younger. It's moved on. And he only played, 18% of the snaps. Like I like that we kept him so he was able to get the record for most sacks. But on the flip side to that, Philly, come on, man. Philly's just going rogue. They just don't care if you're division, out of division. We're just going to do all this stuff. But Anton, I'm gonna come to you first, man, because this was our guy, Mr. Moral Support. This was locker room. This was the guy that we can hang our hat on, like Morgan Moses, and say these two guys will give it everything. These two guys we can depend on. So, Anton, what you think, man?
I mean, I don't like it that he left, but I am happy that he is. I'm glad he is moving on to a team that will probably give him more snaps of a chance. He was just done with us, man. We got our fronts. With him only playing that 18%, it just wasn't good enough for us. Now he's just gonna have his chance in Philly to see whatever he can get out of his system. I'm glad he's gone now.
Yeah. We say that now we say that money will come to you. I'm still sentimental. I love what the guy did. I understand that we had to move on from him. But Will, what you think, man?
I'm not sentimental. I'm pissed because I think this is a stupid decision.
Ooh, okay.
You cannot convince me that Casey Toohill, James Smith-Williams, and William Bradley King are better options. All 3 7th-round picks are better options as your number 3, your backup defensive end behind Chase Young and Montez Sweat and Ryan Kerrigan. Yeah. I understood at the beginning of free agency when there was thoughts that he would get more money, but when the contract comes in and it's like 1.5 million, a little bit less than 2 with the incentives and whatnot, it's like I'm upset at Washington for not playing him more last year, being a little bit more of the rotation, and then telling him at the beginning of off season, we're not resigning yet. I think they botched this. And we'll come see, late in the season, when we actually play him. I don't like the depth on the defensive line behind our two studs, and that's my biggest concern.
Gotcha. What do you think, man? I know what you think, but go ahead and tell us.
Come on, Ad.
You happy?
I'm not happy with it at all. I have to lean more towards Will's side in this argument. Remember earlier when we first started the show is when free agency started, when all these players start getting signed, and it's just like I wasn't gonna be mad. I'm not player hating on, this team got him, this team got him. I'm mad about the contract that's so small.
Yeah.
Now we could have done it.
Right.
That's what I'm mad at with that. That's he could have been more.
It could have definitely just been a veteran minimum, and the way he was playing last year, I know you guys you're talking bad about his 18%, but to get 5.5 sacks and 18% of play, that is astronomical. If you guys think about that, if he played let's say he played 100% of that, just doing math, he would have beat the all-time record for sacks in the NFL. He would have crushed Michael Strahan's record. And that's just something that you guys gotta kind of factor in. And we didn't have a spot for him, but we didn't make a spot for him. You know what I'm saying? We got these several 7th round draft picks, but I think we're depending too much on them. You guys understand, we are one injury away from being an average defense. Think about it. Chase Young or Sweat get injured, we're average. Because now you just triple team that one side, and now you got this 7th round pick trying to rush the passer.
Well, that's what happened when Chase got hurt for that, that 1 or 2 games. So to me, we're doing all these backup moves, but we're not doing it for the defensive end. When we could have definitely got it for cheap from a hometown guy. Honestly,
I think. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you. So, and to me, I think that's what's wrong with it. We need to, if we're going to backfill, we're going to get quality behind our backup, our starters. Then we should have done it with defensive end. We should have started that at home, especially for $1.5 million. Right. Bro, man, and just to add on to your point, Anton, he's not going to be a starter in Philly, bro. He's behind Graham.
Yeah, Graham is one.
And Barnett.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be a rotation, but we could have made him rotation.
We could have done that to him, man.
They're going to do what we did. Have the young guys play all the time, man. This is your 18%. Come on in.
Yeah.
So, it's literally just going to be the same thing. Yeah. Especially if they're anywhere of the studs like we got, it's just going to be the same thing. So we could have done this, and I'm mad that we didn't do it. That's it. Honestly, and on to another point, just to add to what I would say, I told you so, and I'm just say that we should have traded him because now we get nothing for him.
Yes.
Nothing. Yeah. And so basically we kept him for a year for what? Nostalgia?
To only keep him
on the nostalgia, bro. What? Come on, man. You guys talk so much loyalty and everything like that, but loyalty does not make us win Super Bowls, bro. It really doesn't. And that's what we got to stop playing. We got to stop thinking with our hearts and thinking about it as a business too. You have to add business into this. And it was not. And now we're talking about saving money. So we let go Morgan Moses when we could have traded Ryan Kerrigan last year and saved $10 million. And we're letting go Morgan Moses for $8 million, and he's here for another 2 years. Yeah, bro. You guys are. You're thinking like my ex-girlfriend. You're only thinking about now. You're not thinking about the future. Get out of my face.
I mean, I was for Kerrigan. I was for Kerrigan at the beginning of the year because he was consistent. He played his 100% when he was on the field, and letting him go now, it's like it makes me mad that they did let him go. Like he could have had, if we had put him in for more than that 18%. Yes, he could have gone for more sacks or had that opportunity. But I think with the strategy that they're trying to prove is, all right, we don't need just another veteran sitting on the field. Or on the sideline. We need to get like all these young guys, new guys in to try and learn how to play so they can get in and master the spot.
So to me, Ron Rivera is so good at being proactive. This move is really reactive. Like you have to look at it like this.
I get it.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like you're not jumping the gun and trading Kerrigan, and like you can really think about it and be like, okay, this is why Morgan Moses isn't here. This is literally why, because we're
just let both of
penny pinching about money now. When we should, when it wouldn't have been an issue if we would have let go Ryan Kerrigan, traded Ryan Kerrigan last year.
Right.
What's the difference between now and this and now and last year though?
Could this be like our issue with like the Rivera and Snyder having this issue? Like Snyder would have like probably traded him last year, had to spin this issue, but Rivera's just kicking him off the team. Like, all right, we gotta let them go.
He's not kicking him off. He's a free agent, so it's not really kicking him off.
I mean, but he was saying like, we're not going to re-sign you. I don't think this is a Snyder coming in. I don't think Snyder's doing anything right now, football-wise. I think he's learned to shut up and let the other guys do stuff. I'm just with you where like there is a better way to build the team, and we don't. It just goes back to, are we a better team with Ryan Kerrigan as a backup defensive end than without? And I sure hope these guys they've drafted show up and do something.
Yes,
that depth is worrisome to me.
Right. And hindsight is 2020, but hindsight is 2020. But yeah, you are right, because that's why I mentioned that in the beginning, Ab. You definitely did say let's trade him right now for the money for and that's the moves that I think that's the moves that I think become a bigger issue now, especially when you see that. But even a couple of episodes ago, like a week or so ago, when he was still available, I was sitting here like, well, I mean, why not give him if he's still there, if nobody's picking him up, I mean, we could get him now. And that's the reason he got the super cheap contract, because of how long he was out there. You know what I mean?
I said
and he didn't want to leave.
Right. No, he didn't want to leave. So.
And by the way, I'm going to correct this. I said this 2 years ago, Sean. I said it 2 years ago. We should have traded Ryan Kerrigan. Just saying.
Well, if you get
his value was at an all-time high 2 years ago.
If you get the videotape, then we maybe can play that. But since we don't have the videotape, no, we got to move on. Like it, love it, or hate it. We like it, love it. Hope you don't hate it. And we're gonna move on. We actually talked last week on the show when my man Will Kramer, South Carolina's Eggplant, helped hold it down as my two other guys. One was traveling, one was working. Shout out to us. We're all making moves and trying to bring this to you, but life interjects sometimes. So